I can compare my numbers to 100.
Hi first grade, welcome back to math time. Today our target for learning is that we're going to compare numbers to 120. Let's start with a warm-up. Our first set of numbers is 17, 24, 21, and 11. They want you to put these in order from smallest to biggest. Pause the movie. The smallest number was 11, 17, 21, 24. Put these numbers in order from smallest to biggest. Your numbers are 85, 72, 98, and 67. Pause the movie. Okay, our next review. Mrs. Moore wants you to add 3 numbers together. Think of the strategies we've worked on. Remember, we always say try to make 10, try to make 20 before you do the rest of the adding. So what 2 numbers would make 10? 8 plus 2 makes 10, plus 7 more is, write your answer. Let's do the next one. Write 6 plus 5 plus 4. And I'll give you some time to solve the problem. Try to make 10 or 20 first grade. What 2 numbers make 10? And add the next number on. 6 plus 4 makes 10, plus 5 more is 15. We have 12 plus 4 plus 8. What 2, you wouldn't be able to make 10 here. We already have a number higher than 10. What 2 numbers make 20? Are there any 2? And 12 plus 8 is 20, plus 4 more is 24. First graders, let's do some mental math. I went to the park and I saw 18 dogs. I looked around and I saw 19 birds. How many animals did I see in all? Take a minute to pause the movie and write out your problem. Listen one more time. I went to the park and saw 18 dogs. I looked around and saw 19 birds. How many do I see in all? One strategy I could use is to draw out my place value pieces. 18 is 1 10 rod and 8 singles. 19 is 1 10 rod and 9 singles. Remember when we were trading first grade? I'm going to take 10 total, so my 8 here and 2 more, and I'm going to trade it for another 10 rod. Now I can count up my answer. 10, 20, 30, 35, because I can supersize and see that really easily. 36, 37. First graders, that was a great word problem. Let's try a takeaway problem while my puppy is snoozing. This takeaway problem says, my friend had 34 pencils. And boys and girls, 29 broke. What strategy can you use to figure out how many good pencils were left? So if I'm doing a takeaway problem and I want to use the same strategy to figure out how many are left, I do not draw the 29 out because I'm going to take away from 34. But when I start in the ones place, can I even take 9 away from 4 first grade? Goodness, no. So I have to trade one of these 10 rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I can cross the 9 off. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going to cross these off. I know this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. How many are left? Count with Mrs. Moore. 10. What? Mrs. Moore. What was the math problem? I took the 9 away, but how many 10s do I have to take away, first grade? 2. 1, 2. Now there's only 2 there anyways. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. And I'll write it down below.
First graders, we have learned a lot about comparing numbers to 40 and adding them and subtracting them. You've been working so hard. Well, now we're going to work on numbers even higher than 40. We're going to go all the way to 100. So I'm going to place 2 numbers on my piece of paper.
56 and 81. I want to know, I'm going to compare these numbers. Are they the same numbers? No. So I want to find out which one is bigger. And I'm going to look at this tens place, okay? And first graders, is the number in the tens place the same or different? You're right, it's different because the 8 is in the tens place. Well, I already know which number is bigger than. An 8 is bigger than a 5. So theoretically, any number in the 80s is going to be bigger than a number in the 50s. So you do not even need to compare the number that is in the ones place because we already know then 81 is bigger than 56. Watch what happens when they want us to compare these two numbers, 64 and 69. I want you to think about which number is smaller and tell Mrs. Moore the answer. Now remember, if I am looking at the number in the tens place, boys and girls, what are you noticing this time? Is it the same or different? You're right, it's the same this time. So now I have to go further and investigate my number in the ones place. Is 4 or 9 bigger? You're right, the 9 is bigger. Boys and girls, 69 is the bigger number than 64. I'm going to write a set of numbers on my paper. You may go ahead and write them as well and see if you can circle the number that is the biggest. Try doing these 3 problems. Circling which number is bigger, 89 or 82, 76 or 67, 49 or 87. Who remembers these symbols? We can use these symbols to also show which number is greater than and which number is less than. Remember, I always say you want to be like the alligator. Is my hand showing up? And chomp, 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 the bigger number. So if I went back and looked at what you did, I would eat 89. I would want to eat 76. It's the bigger number. And I would want to eat 87. It is also the bigger number. Today's math game that we would have played if we were at school was you and your partner would both flip up a card and decide which number is the greatest. So if I gave you 70 and 35, you would say, if I gave you 63 and 24, you would say, which number is the greatest? 63. 57 and 43. 82 and 77. And so on and so forth. So you could, for fun, write out a bunch of our numbers on those Post-its I gave you. And then have your parents quiz you and tell them which number is greater. Today, our math assignment I uploaded and will email out as soon as I'm done making the video. Why does this get kind of blurry? Your assignment today is on the top to look at these set of 3 numbers now and circle the greatest one. Think of our strategies. Look in the 10 place first. If the 54,
42 and 27 are your choice. 5 is in the tens place here. 4 is in the tens place here. And 2 is in the tens place here. Which one is the greatest? You're right, first grade, 54. And there's a set of 6 problems to do there. Remember, if you don't have a printer, you could write these out right now and just pause the movie. The second set says circle the least number. So remember, least means the smallest. So if I look at this set, 24, 32, and 20. Gosh, I know it's not going to be 32 because that number 3 is in the tens place. It's bigger than both. So which one's smaller, 24 or 20? Well, a 4 in the ones place or a 0 in the ones place? You're right, circle 20. Now when I look at the bottom, it says you have to complete the riddle. So what they want you to do is look at these 4 numbers. So the first one says 48, 65, 58, 79. They want you to tell them which number is the greatest and which number is the least. So look at those numbers and write it out. First graders, you are so good at numbers to 120, you might not have to analyze it with the tens and ones place. You might know right away just by looking. Your fluency page is a little different today, and I'm not 100% sure if I have any of this kind of work in your packet or not. I might email the fluency page today too, just in case. All you're doing is solving the chart, hundreds, tens, and ones. I bet you guys could do this in like 30 seconds. Good luck. Be amazing.